Hello, welcome to the Gables, Lace and Tails podcast. My name is Sue, and I'm a maker from northwestern Wisconsin. Today, I am going to be talking about the wilderness sweater. The wilderness sweater is a pattern from this book, Wilderness Knits by Linka Neumann. She is a Norwegian designer. I have made one other pattern from her. It is called the Foyka Sweater. I have a lot of videos about that one. You can always go back and, look. I'm just going to show you a picture. I made this colorway. It's a very nice sweater. Did I make a big mistake and have to use that mistake as a lesson to be learned forever? Yes, I did. I will show you a picture over here and I can show you the mistake that I made. Now, I did not attach the sleeves and begin the beginning of the round in the correct place with the Foyka sweater. So when I started making the wilderness sweater, which I'm going to show a picture of right now, I thought this one would be easier. And I thought, okay, fine. I'm going to start making it. And I used black as my main color and Arctic blue for one color change. And then I'm using pink, or I think it's called blush, but I'm not 100% sure. And I'm using this yellow with, it's called, I believe, Sunshine. I got these off of Little Knits Seattle. It's Alafosslopi yarn, so it's bulky weight. I am using a US 8 for the ribbing, a US 10 for the main body of the sweater, which I got gauge with, and a US 10.5 for the Colorwork. Now, you make the arms separately, and you make the body separately, and then you combine it all. So I have done that. I was terrified about putting this together. Terrified. It sat in the timeout corner for quite a bit. I mean, I probably could have had it done by now if I had just got the gumption and figured things out. But I was talking about it relatively recently, and I was trying to get to a certain amount on the body, and I decided that I would only go to 16¼ inches for my sleeves and my body because I am short. The size that I am doing, I think, requires you to go to 17 inches for the sleeves and the body. But I'm really not that big, and I don't really need to have something, like hanging off of me, so to speak. So everything was ready, and I'm like, okay, how am I going to put this together? And in the instructions, I'm just going to, because I have a lot of papers there, essentially, you get like one page of instructions, and then like a page of charts. And then on the page, okay, so I'm going to do this. Okay. Let's see. I'm having a hard time here holding my papers. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm going to do this because I don't want to show too much. That's why I'm being like this. Okay. As I drop stuff off my book. Okay, so here's the page of charts. And you do chart up here, chart A for the bottom of the ribbing, like right above the ribbing on the sleeves and the arms. It doesn't matter. It says basically begin in the beginning of the round. It worked out. It was super simple, and I thought, well, this is going to be great. But on the chart B, which is the yoke part, first off, I don't know if it's just me and not knowing charts, or if it's like a Norwegian chart designer thing, or what. But I'm looking at chart A, and then I look at chart B, and then I think, oh, okay, all these here, it's 1, 2, 3. It's 1, 2, 3. So you're kind of building the sweater up. So essentially, here's the one chart, here's the second chart, and there's a third chart. once I realized that, I was like, oh, yes, of course. You're looking at the picture, you're looking at the charts, you're kind of matching them two together, but then I still didn't understand. Stitch 4 out of the 6 stitch repeat is the center front. So I did all my math. I have, after getting the sleeves on and everything, you know, because you have to put some stuff on hold, which I did with my tie-it-on tubing. You have, for my size, you have 234 stitches. Okay, fine. And then I would divide that in half, and then divide that in half again, and I would figure out, okay, well then stitch 58 or 59, because it would be a half a stitch, what do I do? Do I do 58 stitches? Do I do 59 stitches? And I debated, like, well, if I did that, well then where do I begin the beginning of the round? I was so confused. I did not know how to proceed. I just stopped. So one night, I do traction every single night to help my neck and back because I had a really bad whiplash head injury many years ago. And I used to go to the chiropractor, and I learned this technique from them. And so I was laying on my traction, and I had my phone out, and I was like, I wonder if Linka Neumann has a tutorial, or if there is a tutorial for the wilderness sweater. Turns out Linka Neumann has a tutorial. I'm going to show a picture of the page I took, and I will try to link her link in my description. It'll be something new I'm learning. I will put her information in there, or you can just put wilderness sweater tutorial like I did. You know, wilderness sweater tutorial, Linka Neumann. You can find her. Okay, so I was reading through it really quickly because it's kind of late and I want to go to bed and yada yada yada, and it's very long and it's a very in-depth tutorial. The two things that I can tell you that made all the difference for me was the beginning of the round starts at the back left sleeve. So you put your stuff together. Now, I'm going to back up a little bit here. The way I had my needles on my sweater took an amazing long time to get the sleeves attached. It's just the way I started. I didn't do it correctly in the sense that I should have thought about where I was starting to put this all together. I started here, okay? So I was like attaching the sleeve here when I should have been attaching the sleeve back here. So I was here, but I should have started back here. So I knit around, I got everything together, and then I noticed that the sleeves were very loosey-goosey in this area, and I can always tighten that up when I sew them together. It's not a big deal. So I decided to do 2 rounds of stockinette stitch in black, which then brings up my sweater size to 16.75 inches. It's still under the 17, and so I feel like it's going to be just fine. I do have my front door open, and my dog is very excited to see things. So she stated, the beginning of the round starts at the left back sleeve, which I have back. I'm at a beginning of the round right here. I have this big, huge pin to remind me. Okay, so I have that. I have the exact amount of stitches I need. Now, when she said that the beginning of the round starts at the back left sleeve, and then I counted out 58 stitches, this would be the middle 4th stitch of that 6 stitch repeat. And I was like, okay. And then a little bit further down into her tutorial, she stated, she suggests when you're doing these motifs, to mark out each section of the colorwork repeat before knitting. And I went, Eureka! That's it! That is the key. That's what I should have done with the Foyka sweater, but I didn't know it. So the beginning is here, and then I'm like, all right, let's do this thing. So I counted, and every 6 stitches, I put a stitch marker, and it worked. It worked. It works so well. I know you can't really see too much. I'm going to just, because I only did 3 rows of color work so far, but it's working. I'm so happy. So now I have my sections here, and everything worked out. So I have 234 stitches and 6 stitch repeat. So 234 divided by 6 would be 39 sections, and I have 39 sections. And I was like, awesome. But the next stitch repeat is a 16 stitch repeat, and the beginning of the round is the center front, I should say. The center front is stitch 9. And it was like I was trying to wrap my head around all of this before I started knitting, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start knitting and kind of like paying attention. And I only did 2 rounds of the color work. I did 1 round this morning. And when I was doing the 2 rounds of color work, I stopped, and I don't have my glasses over here. And it says, so you do 1 round. I'm using yellow. So I will do 1 round of plain yellow. And then the second round of plain yellow, you decrease so many stitches to get to your new set of stitches, so to speak. So I will get to the yellow after my motif is done down here. I will do 1 round, and then on the next round of yellow, I will decrease according to pattern, which I do have written down and I don't want to give away. And then I will reset each of these stitches markers, these stitch markers, to a 16 row repeat. And then from there, I will follow the instructions, because you do another decreasing round many rounds later, and then the upper yoke. And I will bring you all along for this. So I am so happy I figured all of this out. I really wish I had like a knitting group or a elder, so to speak, that has done Norwegian patterns before, and they'd be like, oh yeah, you just start the back of the left sleeve is the beginning of the round, and that's how you mark everything out and all that fun stuff. So it's looking pretty basic at this moment. It has all of these stitch markers. I will show some pictures throughout this. I hope that you understand what I am saying, because sometimes I feel like I don't even understand what I'm saying. But that tutorial helped so much. And sometimes you just have to like dive into the deep end and know that you will float, because you will be able to do this. And even if you make a mistake like I did on the Foyka sweater, like I learned from one of the ladies that I used to knit with many years ago before we all were at home, I made a mistake on a baby sweater. Someone's running past the house. And I said, oh no, I made a mistake. And she goes, that's okay, just make it part of the pattern. So no matter what, no matter if it's perfect or imperfect, you still have a warm sweater to wear on those cold winter days. And yeah, this is this yarn I got from Little Knits in Seattle. I don't know if I mentioned that. They usually have good deals on their stuff. They don't always have that type of yarn that you're looking for per se. Just look on their website. I know I got it on a discount. I don't remember what it was, but it might have been 30% off at the time. And it is a hair sheep yarn. This is rustic. This, even, you know, when I create a turtleneck with my last one, I had to put I know it's polyester probably, but I have to put one of those silky scarves just to create a barrier between me and it. Now, if I was outside, I don't need that, because somehow when it's cold, this yarn doesn't bother your skin as much as if when you are warm. Hi, kitty. My Tulula is down here, and I'm going to pick up my yarn. So I really like this yarn. I really do. It just feels so nice to work with. My floats are being managed pretty well. I have not caught any float yet, because technically speaking, I'm only going 5 stitches. And I do have quite a bit of give here on purpose. Plus, this yarn felt really nice. I can spit splice. I can, or put it in water. I find that actually spit splicing is easier, even if it isn't, you know, the most desirable. I mean, who wants to put yarn in their mouth? But it actually worked really well to get it together and not fray apart. So what else can I say? I will be changing out these light bulb pins here for more of these plastic ones. I'll show you a different color. These plastic ones are wider, and they slide over my wood needles better. I am using, and I'm not sponsored, Knit Picks Sunstruck laminated birch wood needles. They're really nice. I really like them. They have a nice pointy tip. This is size 10.5, or would it be a 6.5 millimeter? I do have this brown tried on tubing. It's a challenge to get the stitches off because it is really sticky, and then this yarn sticks to it. But, you know, with patience, it does come off. Let's see, what else could I say? Talking to my cat. She's might be tearing down the blinds and the curtains. We'll see. Oh, yarn holding. So, I'm an English knitter. Hello, Annie. She's right over here. She's looking at all my stuff. So this is my main color. And I learned this from one of the books. I don't remember which one. It might have been Vogue Knitting or a different Colorwork book. But essentially, you hold it in the same position throughout. So this is my main color. And when I'm working with 2 colors, I make like this one right now. Excuse me. I hold this one above. Okay, so this one's below, this one's above. And I always just make sure that the placement of my yarn when I'm knitting is the same. So the black one is below, the black one is down here, and the blue one is here. Now, I will be incorporating pink. And when I do that, then the black will be below, the blue will be in the middle, and the pink will be on top. And I just, you know, create space on the couch and just kind of keep it, you know, organized, and just take my time with that section. When I'm done with the black, there's this part in this pattern where you're done with the black, or the main color, then this will become my main color, and I will work the same way. So this will be my main color, then I'll have the blue, and then I'll have the pink. And then when I'm working just the paws, because I'm going to have the paws will be pink, then it'll be like this. so it'll remain the same throughout the pattern. I'm going to just show this picture one more time. Let's do this. Oh, all right. So here's my black, and then this white part will be yellow and the paws will be pink. Now, I started this sweater on the winter solstice 2025. And I thought really long and hard. I have enough yarn, I think, to make one more of these sweaters, but I'm not sure. But I really knew I wanted to have a sweater that kind of signified something to me. And when I started this one on the winter solstice is the darkest day of the year in the northern hemisphere, and it is the returning of the light. And I thought, ooh, I really want to do this wilderness sweater. And then, you have the black of the night and the blue of the sky and the yellow of the sun, and then, the pink hues in the morning or at night. So that's how I chose my colors. Plus, that's what I had in my stash. So that is about it. I will link her tutorial, which was amazingly helpful. She is a very good designer. Norwegian designers just don't have a lot of information. They don't hold your hand because they teach their entire population how to knit at a young age. I'm not saying that Norwegians don't also have issues with learning how to knit certain things, because we all do, but they just grew up doing it, so it comes more naturally when you've learned all your life how to do something. Like if you ask me how to make something in the kitchen, I can do a lot of different things. For example, at was it Christmas? Yes, Christmas. I was making a dish that I've never made before at my mother-in-law's house, and it required 16 ounces of sour cream. But she didn't tell me she was only going to use 8 ounces of sour cream in both dishes, because she'd only bought one 16-ounce container. And I'm like, well, I already put it all in the one. And she's like, oh no, what are we going to do? And I said, well, let's see here. I opened up her fridge and I found mayo. And I don't remember what kind of mayo it was. It wasn't Hellmann's, but I think it was like olive oil mayo or avocado mayo. Not 100% sure. And I said, you know what? We'll just use mayo. We only need a cup for this, so we'll just use that. It made that corn casserole, we'll call it, so good. I would switch it out. The next time I made that corn casserole, which was at Easter for her, she is 85, turning 86 this year, and I like to help out in the kitchen when I can. And when I made it with the sour cream this year, because she had more than enough sour cream, I didn't like it as much. I liked it better with the mayo. And that's just my opinion. That's just the way I would do things from now on. Created a lighter texture with the mayo. It's really interesting. Anyway, I hope this helped someone out there learn more about knitting these patterns by Linka Neumann. I want to make the sweater that she's wearing here. That is why I bought this book. But I was afraid to do it because the Colorwork pattern is very, very intricate, and I felt like I wouldn't be able to do it. But isn't that just gorgeous? It's just so beautiful. So maybe in the future. Anyway, I hope we're all doing well, and I just want to say thank you so much for subscribing. Say that 10 times fast. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for liking, and thank you so much for commenting on my videos. I truly appreciate it, and I hope you are all doing well. Take care. Have fun. Bye for now.